Japan has seen its share of UFO sightings, but none quite as bizarre as the mini UFO of 1972, a mysterious craft, small enough to hold in your hands, yet capable of vanishing without a trace, the size of a lunchbox or ashtray, captured multiple times, examined and photographed, just to disappear, over and over again. Was this proof of an unknown technology, a military experiment, a hoax or something not of this world? This is the story of the Kira UFO incident, one of the most bizarre and unexplained UFO cases in history. Welcome to Mysteries Retold. It all started on August 25th, 1972, in the quiet village of Kira, Japan. A 13-year-old junior high student named Michio Seo was walking home when he saw something strange above a rice field. It was no bird, no drone, no conventional aircraft. The object moved with an unnatural agility, darting through the air as if it were alive. Michio ran home, confused, but fascinated. He told his friends, who were equally intrigued. They decided to investigate. At around 7 p.m., 4 of them set out for the rice field in search of the object. About an hour later, they spotted the object flying over the rice field, lighting up the night with a pulsating silver light. When one of the boys tried to approach the object, it suddenly made a loud pop sound and its glow changed from silver to a vivid blue. Terrified, they ran without looking back. But this was just the beginning. Over a week later, at 9:30 p.m. on September 4th, several of the boys once again saw the bright object in the rice field. They observed the strange object darting around before disappearing. But 2 days after that, on September 6th, the boys and a few of their friends found the object on the ground in the field. It appeared to have crash-landed right there in the field. One of the boys, a 14-year-old named Hiroshi Mori, picked the object up with his hands and carried it home. Now was their chance to truly investigate. It wasn't just light. It wasn't a trick of the eye. It was real. A solid, metallic craft. It was a strange, silver hat-shaped object. It was small yet surprisingly heavy, weighing around 1.3 kilograms. It stood approximately 7 centimeters tall and had a diameter of 15 centimeters. Its underside was dotted with tiny perforations and bore intricate engravings, among them a bird, flowing waves, and what seemed to be another flying object. When shaken, something inside rattled, hinting at hidden components within. That night, Hiroshi carefully wrapped the peculiar artifact in a plastic bag and tucked it away in his backpack. But by the next morning, it had inexplicably vanished, without a single clue as to where it had gone. After Hiroshi's discovery that the UFO had mysteriously vanished from his backpack, the boys were left in a state of shock and disbelief. They searched the area around his house, retracing their steps, hoping to find even the slightest trace of the strange object. But it was gone, just like that. For days, the boys couldn't stop talking about it. Their conversations were filled with unanswered questions. Had someone taken it? Was it just some elaborate prank? Or they couldn't help but wonder, was the object simply disappearing into thin air? But then, just as suddenly as it had vanished, the UFO reappeared. It was one of the boys, Hiroshi, who spotted it first. It was lying in the same rice field they had originally found it, exactly where they had left it before. The object sat there in the field, glowing faintly, as if waiting for them. Carefully, they picked it up again, examining it with a mixture of awe and fear. How could it have vanished only to reappear? This wouldn't be the last time the object disappeared just to reappear. In the days that followed, the UFO showed up multiple times, always in the same field, always at night, glowing faintly in the darkness. But whenever the boys tried to keep it for too long, it would disappear once again. The boys began to feel like they were in some strange, unexplainable cycle. It was as if the object had a will of its own, appearing when it chose, vanishing without a trace when it wished. They were trapped in a never-ending cycle of discovery and loss, each time more bewildering than the last. On one occasion, driven by curiosity and an increasing sense of mystery, The boys decided to experiment further with the strange object. They poured water into the tiny holes on the bottom, expecting nothing more than a simple reaction. To their astonishment, the moment the water hit, the object began to emit a loud, cicada-like buzzing sound, almost as if it were alive. Then, the interior of the object began to glow brightly, casting an eerie light that illuminated their faces with an unnatural, almost otherworldly glow. They decided to take things a step further. They carefully ran a piece of wire through the holes in the bottom and dangled the object upside down. The object responded in a bizarre way. The top and bottom halves began to slightly separate, revealing an opening. Through the gap, they glimpsed something beyond their expectations: electronic components. Tiny wires, circuits, and what appeared to be delicate machinery were visible, sparking even more questions than answers. How could this small, seemingly innocent object contain such intricate technology? And where had it come from? One of the boys' fathers, a teacher and the chief science education officer at the Kochi City Science Center, initially dismissed the children's claims. When he saw the object, he thought it resembled an old-fashioned ashtray and assumed the boys were playing a prank. To test it, he struck the object with a paperweight and it produced a metallic sound, similar to hitting brass. In a later interview, he described the sound more like iron, but lighter, nothing like what he expected. Looking back, he regretted not investigating the object more thoroughly. On the night of September 22nd, Hiroshi was riding his bicycle home, the object nestled securely in the basket. As he pedaled along, the object, now a strange, glowing presence, suddenly vanished. One moment, it was there. The next, it was gone. Hiroshi stopped, bewildered, searching the area, but there was no sign of the object. It had simply disappeared once again, leaving behind only questions and a sense of deep, unsettling mystery. After that night, the object was never seen again by any of the boys. It had vanished as mysteriously as it had appeared. The mini UFO of 1972 wasn't the only strange encounter in Kochi Prefecture. Nearly 4 years later, on the night of June 6, 1976, a 9-year-old girl named Sachiko Oyama from the village of Agawa, now part of Nyodogawa-cho, stepped outside to search for her family's missing cat. As she scanned the night sky, she noticed a bright yellow luminous object hovering in the eastern sky. Drawn in by the sight, Sachiko moved to the street for a clearer view. Suddenly, the object descended rapidly, heading towards the woods. It struck a tree before plummeting to the ground, landing at her feet. To her shock, it made no sound upon hitting the pavement. The object, shaped like a silver hat, was approximately 15 centimeters, 7 inches, in diameter. With curiosity getting the better of her, Sachiko reached down and touched it with her index finger. The object felt solid, but was covered in a slimy substance that adhered to her finger. Fear quickly set in, and Sachiko instinctively turned to run home. As she glanced over her shoulder, she saw the object glow yellow, spin counterclockwise 3 times, and then shoot back into the sky at incredible speed. What could explain these eerie mini UFO encounters? Could there be a logical explanation, or were they simply elaborate hoaxes? Perhaps the sightings were the result of overactive imaginations. Or, as Kazuo Hayashi, head of the Japan Space Phenomena Society, JSPS, speculates, could these strange flying objects have temporarily slipped into our realm from another dimension? The mystery of the Kochi mini UFO remains one of Japan's most baffling and intriguing encounters. Over the span of several weeks in 1972, the strange object appeared, vanished, and reappeared, captivating the group of boys who found themselves caught up in something that defied logic. The object, with its mysterious glowing lights, intricate designs, and even the discovery of electronic components, raised more questions than answers. Was it some kind of advanced technology, a military experiment, or something beyond our understanding, perhaps from another world or even another dimension? Despite efforts to understand or prove the nature of the object, it vanished as suddenly as it had appeared. And the boys, now adults, still recall the events as one of the most inexplicable experiences of their lives. With no concrete evidence left behind, the story has become a fascinating mystery that continues to captivate those who hear it. Was it a hoax, a misidentification, or something far stranger? The boys' accounts, unwavering through the years, suggest a story too compelling to dismiss, and the shadow of that unexplainable object still looms over Kochi. What do you think? Could the mini UFO of 1972 have been proof of something much bigger than we can comprehend? As with all great mysteries, the truth may never be fully known, but the story of the Kochi mini UFO will remain one of Japan's most curious and unsolved phenomena. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Could this be proof of extraterrestrial life, or perhaps something else entirely? Stay tuned for more mind-bending mysteries from history, and don't forget to like and subscribe.